According to Peter Senge, there are three building blocks of systems thinking using which you can model any complex system, both human and otherwise. The first one is what he calls as the reinforcing loop. Let's learn that through an example of the bank interest rate he gives. So you have a bank deposit which gives you interest, which further grows the bank deposit and which further increases the interest, and this keeps on going in a loop. So a variable A on which you take an action and it impacts variable B, which gives you feedback which further reinforces variable A. So this is the bank interest is a virtuous loop where the deposit keeps growing. On the other hand, when there is a bank run, when everybody starts withdrawing money, you have set a vicious loop in motion. Now, whenever there is a growth, there is a reinforcing loop. And to oppose that, you have what he calls as the balancing loop, which is the second building block. And the fact that there is a balancing loop in operation is not obvious, it's hidden. For example, let's say you want to increase sales and you put more sales people on the street, do sales campaign, sales starts increasing. But in the delivery department, there might be problems in delivery which might actually spread negative word of mouth and have an impact on sales, which takes time for us to figure out. So actions taken have also a delay, which is the third building block of systems thinking. So using these three, you can build any kind of model of a system. Now, the most interesting thing that I found in Senge's work is that he mentions that goal-directed behaviors trigger balancing loop. This had got me intrigued and perplexed as to why goal-directed behaviors trigger the balancing loop, and is there a way to avoid that? And I landed through my research into this concept of mastery goal versus a performance goal. Let's take the example of a weight loss target. You hit the weight loss target, but after some time you find yourself going back to the same weight that you had because your body's balancing loops have made that happen. Whereas on the other hand, if you've chosen fitness, which is a mastery goal, there is no end to it and you can never say I am now fit. Now, how do you differentiate between mastery and performance goals? If your goal has a direct measure, such as weight loss can be directly measured, you are having a performance goal. Whereas fitness has no direct measure. There are proxy measures available, but there is no direct measure. That means it's a mastery goal. Customer delight is a mastery goal, whereas a revenue or a sales target which is directly measurable is a performance goal. So if you choose mastery goals, you have no balancing loop at all. This could be very, very powerful for transforming your organization as well as individuals. Now, Kumaran, my co-founder, has developed a process he calls intention orientation that allows you to generate these mastery goals more easily. Now, in this context of mastery versus performance, many of us in India might know our ancient wisdom, Bhagavad Gita, which talks about the shloka karmanyeva adhikaraste, the difference between mastery and performance goals. Now, why I quote Bhagavad Gita in this context is because Peter Senge himself quotes Bhagavad Gita shloka as his inspiration.